Anne of Green Gables never change. We like you just this way. Anne of Green Gables, sweet and strange, stay as you are today. Though blossoms fade and friends must part, old grow the songs we've sung. And of Green Gables in our hearts, you are forever young. Every Tuesday afternoon we take up our positions in the rummage brigade of the Ladies' Aid to the Board of Foreign Missions. All the ladies of Avonlea are glad to teach believing, to improve the lot that we haven't got, 'cause it's natural to us as breathing, as natural to us as breathing. We are great workers for the cause, willing helpers in the mission fields. We do everything we can do. We send Afghans to the... We are great workers for the cause. We're collecting undershirts and drawers for to keep the naked people warm. When your children get too big,
We send their undies to the needy.
we are great workers for the...
Oh, look, it's Matthew Cuthbert, driving a buggy just like he was going to a funeral.
Matthew Cuthbert driving a buggy.
In his Sunday suit. On a Tuesday.
Why isn't he home bugging his potatoes?
Yoo-hoo, Matthew, where are you off to? He didn't say.
Matthew never does.
That's the truth.
Where is Matthew going, and why is he going there? Matthew Cuthbert never goes anywhere. He's wearing his clean white collar, he's wearing his store-bought suit.
Let's get us a rig and forward.
Don't be silly.
Be sassy.
Don't be cute. Where do you suppose he's going? He's hitched up a Sunday steed. He should be home sewing up turnip seed. It must be a fearful task then. It must be something bad.
Why don't we go and ask them?
Are you balmy?
Are you batty? Are you mad?
If it was bad, he'd drive much faster. If it was nothing, he'd drive slow.
I'd better go ask his sister.
Marrilla'd be sure to know. You'd better go ask Marrilla. You'd better go pay a call.
I'll borrow a drop of vanilla and ask her dumb and dull.
You can talk about the weather, then ask her all at once.
Why don't we go together? We're no snoopers.
We're no gossips.
Oh, you dunce.
Afternoon, ladies. I'm late.
Why, Marrilla Cuthbert, we thought you were called to your maker when we saw your brother drive by in his Sunday suit.
And on a Tuesday,
Matthew Cuthbert's so shy, he's never moved farther than from the house to the barn.
Matthew went to Bright River to meet the train. The
train?
We're getting a little boy from the orphanage in Nova Scotia.
Well, you're never through with surprises till you're dead.
We've been thinking about it ever since last harvest when Matthew had the heart attack. You know how desperate hard it's got to be to get hired help these days. And when Mrs. Alex Spencer told us that she was going to adopt herself a little girl, we decided to ask Mrs. Spencer if she could pick us out a boy while she was there. Young enough to be trained up proper and old enough to be of some help on the farm.
But Marrilla, you really don't know what you are getting.
Now, don't tell me I didn't warn you if this imported orphan puts strychnine in the well and burns your house to the ground. I heard of an orphan over in Nova Scotia who did just that, and the whole family died in fearful agonies. As I remember, it was a girl in that instance.
You can stop saying your prayers on our account, Rachel. We're not getting a girl.
Well, I think it's a mighty risky thing you're doing, that's what.
There's risks in people having children of their own when it comes to that.
Well, it's hardly a risk in the case of you and your brother.
Our meeting can continue. Now we found out just where that Matthew's going and why he's going there. We are great workers for the cause, willing helpers in the mission fields.
If you're looking for the 5:30 train, it's been and gone.
Oh,
Half an hour ago.
but it's only 20 past 5.
If you're looking for the station master, he told me to tell you he's gone home.
He told you to tell me?
I suppose you are Mr. Matthew Cuthbert? Mrs. Spencer told me what you looked like. I was beginning to be afraid you weren't coming for me. The station master said the 5:30 train was early because they had a new engineer on and he wasn't very experienced.
There must be some sort of mistake.
Yes, he said usually the 5:30 train is half an hour late, regular as clockwork. If you hadn't come for me, I was going to walk down the track to that big wild cherry tree over there. See it?
Oh, yes.
And I was going to climb into that beautiful tree and stay the night. Ah, wouldn't that be lovely? Am I talking too much? People are always telling me I do. Mrs. Spencer said my tongue must be hung in the middle, it flaps so. If you say so, I'll stop. I'll stop once I make up my mind, although it is awfully difficult.
No, you can talk all you like. I don't mind.
Oh, I'm so glad. Isn't it wonderful that I'm going to live with you and belong to you?
I'll let Marrilla do it.
I beg your pardon?
Let me help you with your bag.
Oh, I can take it. It isn't heavy. It's an excruciatingly old bag. Thank goodness I'll never have to use it again. Mr. Cuthbert, which would you rather be if you had to choose? Divinely beautiful, dazzlingly clever, or angelically good?
Well, I don't suppose I rightly know.
Oh, neither do I, but wouldn't it be nice to think you had the choice? Once I thought I'd like to be a blossom growing on a tree, white and pink and lazy as can be. But I'd be king just in the spring, so now I think it over. Gee, I'm glad I'm no one else but me. If you sit around and find the world is gloomy, and it isn't just your cup of tea, it's easy to imagine that it's rose and bloomy. You can think the things you want to be. So when all is said and done, imagining's a lot of fun. But when there are battles to be won, be what you are, is best by far, and soon you'll be
you like them?
Mr. Cuthbert, what color would you say this is?
Well, I suppose it's red.
Yes, red hair and freckles have been my lifelong sorrows. But why are your roads red?
Well, I think I remember some fella telling me it was the iron in the soil getting rusty. But I don't suppose he could have meant it.
Do you suppose that it could be the wounds of tragic destiny dripping from a bloodstained family tree? An evil spell that did compel the founders of this island to meet their doom and perish horribly. Picture now the vicious strife that started raging way back in the olden days of yore. Family with feuds engaging, drenching all your local soil with gore. As far as I can see, I've just cleared up the mystery of why your roads are red perpetually.
The answer's found not in the ground, in your imagination.
Gee, I'm glad I'm no one else. Gee, I'm glad I'm no one else. Gee, I'm glad I'm no one else but me.
Come right on in now.
Matthew?
Yes, Marrilla.
Why, Matthew Cuthbert.
Yes.
Who's that? Where's the boy?
Well, now, there wasn't any boy. There was only her.
There must have been a boy. We sent word to Mrs. Spencer to bring us a boy.
Well, she didn't. She brought her.
This is a pretty piece of business.
You don't want me? You don't want me because I'm not a boy? Oh, I might have known this.
I gotta water the mare.
There, child. There's no need to cry so.
Oh, but there is need. This is the most tragic thing that has ever happened to me.
Well, we're not going to throw you out the doors tonight at any rate. Now, what was your name?
Will you please call me Cordelia?
Call you Cordelia. Is that your name?
Well, no, it's not exactly my name. Actually, it's Anne Shirley, but whenever I'm in dire anguish, I've always imagined that my name is Cordelia. At least I always have of late years.
Oh, fiddlesticks. If your name is Anne, that's what you should be called. It's a good, plain, sensible name, and you've no need to be ashamed of it.
Well, if you're going to call me Anne, will you please call me Anne spelled with an E?
What difference does it make how it's spelled?
Oh, it looks so much nicer.
Very well then, Anne with an E. Would you tell me how the mistake came to be made? We sent word to Mrs. Spencer to bring us a boy. Were there no boys at the orphanage?
Oh, yes, in abundance. But I distinctly heard Mrs. Spencer say you wanted a girl, and the matron said she thought I'd do.
A girl would be of no use to us. We want a boy to help Matthew on the farm. Take off your hat and help me with the table. We'll have supper.
Oh, I couldn't eat. I'm in the depths of despair. Can you eat when you're in the depths of despair?
Well, I don't know. I've never been there, so I can't say.
She's tired, Marrilla. It's probably best to put her to bed.
Very well. Bring your bag and come with me.
Good night.
How can you say that it is a good night when you know very well it must be the very worst night I've ever had? My life is a perfect graveyard of broken hopes.
What was that?
It's a sentence I read in a book once. I say it to myself whenever I'm disappointed in anything.
You can sleep in here. Mercy, child, what's the matter?
A tree of your very own. Imagine.
It's a big tree, and it blooms great, but the blossoms don't amount to much. Small and wormy.
Snow Queen.
What?
I'll call the tree Snow Queen because it reminds me of the blinding vision of the White Way of Delight.
You've got a tongue in your head, that's for certain. Now I want you to get undressed.
Oh, I have my best underwear on. The matron said you never know when you might get caught up in a train wreck.
I suppose you have a nightgown?
I have two.
They look kind of flimsy. You'd best wear both of them. After you're undressed, I want you to say your prayers.
Oh, I never say any prayers.
Don't you know who God is?
The matron told me that God's the one who made my hair red, and I've never cared about him since.
I am afraid you're a very wicked little girl to talk this way. This is a Christian house, and while you're in it, you'll say your prayers. And after you're finished, I want you to blow out the candle. No, on second thought, I'd best wait here till you're done. You're liable to set this house on fire.
You may take the candle. After I'm in bed, I'll imagine out a nice prayer to say.
No, no, child, you must kneel by your bed to pray to your Maker.
I'm ready. What do I say?
Now I lay me down to sleep. No, actually, you had best talk to the Lord in your own words, child.
I'll do my best. Gracious Heavenly Father, infinite, eternal, and unchangeable.
Mercy on us, what was that?
That's the way the minister who came to the orphanage used to do it.
Stop with your chattering and get on with your prayers, and use your own words.
My dear God. Oh, Miss Cuthbert, even though I'm not going to stay here at Green Gables, I think I could make a much nicer prayer if I imagine that I am.
Never mind your imaginings. Just thank him humbly for the blessings he has given.
And that's where I need my imagination. My dear God, thank you for the White Way of Delight and for the Snow Queen. I'm really extremely grateful for them. And that's all the blessings I can think of just for now to thank you for. As for the things I want, it would take a great deal of time to mention them all, so I'll just name the two most important. Please let me stay here at Green Gables, and please let me be good looking when I grow up. I remain yours respectfully, Anne Shirley. There! Did I do it all right? I could have made it much more flowery if I'd only had time to think it over.
Go to sleep now.
Oh, I just think I should have said amen in place of yours respectfully, the way the ministers do. Do you suppose it would have made any difference?
I don't suppose so. Now go to sleep. This is what comes of sending someone instead of going ourselves. One of us will have to drive over to Mrs. Spencer's tomorrow, that's for certain. The child will have to go back to the orphanage.
Yes, I suppose so.
You suppose so? Don't you know it?
Well, she's a nice little thing, Marrilla. It seems kind of a pity to send her off when she's so put on staying.
Matthew Cuthbert, you don't mean to tell me you think we ought to keep her? What good would she be to us?
We might be some good to her.
I've never heard of such a thing. The child will have to be dispatched straight away back to where she came from.
Well, of course, it's always just as you say, Marrilla.
Where are you gadding off to? You haven't touched a bite of your supper.
I don't suppose I'm hungry either.
How could Miss Spencer have made such a mistake? We clearly requested a boy.
A boy's what we wanted, I guess.
I guess that a girl's not so bad.
So badly we needed a boy. We clearly requested a
boy's what they wanted,
I guess that a girl's not so bad.
badly we needed a boy.
Could help out on
The farm could look after
It's
itself.
selfish to think of
Myself, I am partial to boys.
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 A girl could help Marrilla around the house. A girl could bring alfalfa to the cows.
A boy could milk and carry in the pails.
Boys are made of snails and puppy dog tails.
A boy could plow, a boy can hay and hoe. A girl can only sit and knit and sew.
A boy is rough, but girls are still as mice.
Girls are made of spice. Oh, won't they think twice? She hates me because I'm a
girl is all right, I
declare that
declare.
she'll have to
Go back, go back,
go back.
Go back.
We clearly requested.
like all of the rested.
It can't be contested. We clearly requested a boy.
Why, Marrilla, Cuthbert, what brings you our way?
The fact is, Mrs. Spencer, that when we asked,
Is that little Anne over there? Isn't she the dear wee thing?
the fact is, Mrs. Spencer, there's been some sort of queer mistake somewhere. We sent word through your brother Robert for you to bring us a boy.
How did that happen, Marrilla? Isn't that a funny thing? I'm dreadful sorry. I thought I was following your instructions. How did that happen? Isn't this a funny predicament?
The thing to do now, Mrs. Spencer, is to put it right. I suppose the orphanage will take the child back?
Mrs. Peter blew it, the very thing. I don't think we'll have to send her back to Nova Scotia after all. Why don't you just come along with me? I always say it's an ill wind that doesn't blow somebody into town. Come along.
Mrs. Blewett. Come in. Lovely to see you again. My, what a dear little home you have. Might I introduce my friend, Miss Marrilla Cuthbert?
Mrs. Blewett?
And this little girl, remember that little matter we spoke of last week?
Ah, she available.
Sure is. I'm sure the two of you will become firm friends.
Them kids. I keep them in the woodshed till feeding time. Here, you, go stir the stew. All right, I'm coming up there and well daylight's out of you.
The good Lord has seen fit to reward her labors. She's had twins 3 times in a row.
How many children in all?
7.
She'd be a Roman Catholic.
No, Presbyterian.
How long has she been married?
5 years, going on 6.
Funny kind of Presbyterian.
Dinner's coming. Just sit up there and suck your fingers, all right? You, what's your name?
I'm the Lady Cordelia de Montmorency, abducted by pirates when I was 3.
Anne.
My name is Anne Shirley. Anne spelled with an E.
That's better, just the facts.
Go and tell her where you were born and who your folks were.
I was born in a palace in old Vienna. Danube and waltzes my lullabies. And my father was Johann with great mustaches. My mother Maria with emerald eyes.
And where did you say you was born?
My dear parents were rich and aristocratic, with 10 maids and butlers to bring you tea. And we'd ride in a carriage with footmen on it, and all of them curtsied and bowed to me.
That is enough of that, child.
If you're wondering how I got here, I was kidnapped by this buccaneer, who took me to France and taught me to dance in his pirate hideout in Tangier.
Anne Shirley.
Never heard such nonsense in all my life. I don't think the girl was all there. That's certainly not what they told me at the orphanage.
Anne Shirley, just where do you think you are?
I'm the Lady Cordelia Devan, Morency, abducted by pirates when I was 3.
The facts, the facts, the facts. The plain, simple, homely, hand-embroidered facts.
Here are the facts. This is the report they gave to me at the orphanage. Name, Anne Shirley.
Spelled with an E.
Parents deceased. Father Walter Shirley, teacher of agriculture and rapid calculation at Bolingbroke Continuation School. Mother Bertha Shirley, housewife.
I have to imagine what they looked like. I was only 3 months old when they died.
Oh, never mind that, dear. You're going to have a new home now. What you lose on the sauce, you gain on the gander. Now, where was I? Temporary guardian, Mrs. Russell Thomas.
And her drunken husband.
Oh, dear, that's not a very nice thing to say.
It wasn't a very nice thing to watch either. But then they sent me upriver
Up the river?
to Mrs. Hammond and her 5 children.
Then you've had experience.
Yes, I have. Thank you. So I lived with the Thomases then, the Hammonds. I lived with the family in Halifax, but none of them wanted me, so I went to the home for the orphans, and those are the facts.
Are you sure? Yes, it's all written down here.
The plain, simple, homely, unembroidered facts.
Well, turn around. There's not much of you, but what there is in the library.
I'll expect you to earn your keep, all right. Miss Spencer, I'll take
Take her.
Well, I don't know. I only came over to Miss Spencer to find out how the mistake had occurred. I feel I oughtn't to decide anything without consulting my brother first. I think I'd best take the child home again and talk it over with him.
But I thought...
If we decide not to keep her, I will bring her back to you tomorrow night. Will that suit you, Mrs. Blewett?
I suppose it'll have to.
Well, that's settled then. We'd best put it off till tomorrow instead of burning our bridges today. Come along.
Morning, Cecil.
Morning, Earl. Mail come in yet today?
Nothing today, Cecil. Water's pretty choppy this morning. Mailboat couldn't make it across.
Isn't that a caution? The mainland's been cut off again.
Hey, where'd that buggy come from?
I don't know, but it's heading into Cuthbert's.
Where'd Marrilla come from? She's coming up from the south. The horse's eyes are rolling, he's foaming at the mouth. Whoever it is she's racing, I can't see him for dust. She's driving to beat the devil
Like a cyclone.
like a whirlwind fit to bust. Where'd Marrilla come from, and what did she have in there? Whatever it was had freckles and hanks of long red hair. She couldn't drive much faster, it must be something dire, must be some disaster.
It's a robbery.
It's a fire,
It's
a,
she's in trouble.
in a whirl,
It's an accident.
It's a girl.
take off your hat and help me with the table. Matthew should be in from chores any minute now.
Will you please tell me if you're going to keep me or not? I tried to be patient all the way back in the buggy, but I really just can't bear not knowing any longer.
Would you take this cloth and clean the table?
And then you'll tell me?
First, I want you to go to the shed out back and get some sticks of wood for the stove.
And that's when you'll tell me.
Hurry along to the woodshed now, child. And not too big sticks, mind.
Oh, you're back.
So it would appear.
Yeah. I watered Pearl. She's having her oats now. We're getting low on oats. I'll have to run over to Carmody or White Sands tomorrow and get some more. Marrilla, I still think we should have...
Matthew, mind the eggs! Matthew, Cuthbert, have you no thought for your heart? What would Dr. Malcolm say?
You can tell old Malcolm my heart's never been better.
Sit down this minute, or you'll get the heaves. Now stop it, the both of you. I have something to say, although the Lord knows there's not much need to put it into words. Matthew and I have decided to keep you. That is, if you'll try to be a good little girl and help Matthew on the farm. Mercy, child, why are you crying?
I don't know why. I'm just so glad. No, glad isn't it. It's much, much more than that.
Well, when you find the right word, we'll have supper.
Yoo-hoo!
Oh, no, I know who that could be.
Come in, Rachel.
I saw you driving by in the buggy, so I thought I'd come over. Whatever happened to the boy?
Oh, well, we changed his mind. Or changed her. What I'm trying to say is we wanted a girl, so we got one.
Anne, this is Mrs. Rachel Lynde come to see you. Isn't that nice of her?
I could tell by the pigtails flying by in the buggy you hadn't got what you expected. Well, well, well. They didn't pick you up for your looks, that's sure and certain. Come over here. Let me have a look at you. Did you ever see such freckles and hair as red as carrots?
How dare you? How dare you call me ugly and red-headed?
Anne?
How would you like to have such things said about you? How would you like to be told that you're fat and dilapidated and probably hadn't a spark of imagination in you? Oh, I don't care if I hurt your feelings. You've hurt mine worse than they've ever been hurt before, and I'll never forgive you for it. Never, never, never!
Did you ever see such a temper?
Anne, apologize to Mrs. Lynde at once and ask her to forgive you.
I could never do that. I'm sorry I vexed you, Marrilla, but I'm glad I said what I said. It gave me a great satisfaction.
Well,
you will go straight upstairs to your room and stay there until you're willing to apologize.
Ugh! You've taken on quite a responsibility there, Marrilla. I don't envy anyone who has to bring that up.
You shouldn't have twitted her about her looks, Rachel.
You don't mean to tell me you're upholding that terrible display of temper.
I'm not trying to excuse her, but we must make allowances. She's never been taught what's right, and you were hard on her.
Well, I can see I'll have to be careful what I say around here in future, since clearly the fine feelings of orphans brought from goodness knows where have to be given first consideration.
You haven't had your tea, Rachel. We'll just sit here and wait until Anne is ready to apologize.
If you take my advice, me who's brought up 10 children and buried 2, you won't wait for anything. You'll go right outside and cut yourself a good-sized birch switch.
Where are you off to?
Oh, upstairs.
Upstairs?
Yes.
You haven't been upstairs since you helped me paper the spare room 4 years ago.
Well, I thought I'd go and take a look.
Mind what the doctor said about climbing stairs.
Uh-huh.
Matthew, don't you go interfering. I suppose an old maid doesn't know much about disciplining children, but I guess she knows about as much as an old bachelor. Cup of tea, Matthew?
No, thanks. I think I'll just...
Well, while I have you, Rachel, I might as well show you the patchwork pieces I've been saving.
Anne Shirley, Cordelia de Montmorency. You know, you'd really better just go down, get this off your chest, and apologize.
I couldn't do it. You may lock me up in a damp, dark dungeon full of snakes and toads.
Well, we're not exactly in the habit of doing that.
She had no right to call me freckled and red-headed.
But I heard you say as much yourself only the other day.
There's such a difference between saying something yourself and hearing someone else say it.
Anne, you listen to me. Never mind how folks talk, let them all strut and squawk. When they criticize, just pass them by. If they do carpet you, don't get upset. Fuss, fume, and fret, or get indigestion. Critics can't bother me, 'cause I tell them I agree. When they're finding fault, I don't deny. You can do it, just you try. Oh, you won't rue it, be like I keep happy eating humble pie. Humble pie, we can eat it, you and I. Though the world around us may be proud. Never mind, you will find they have no fight.
If you're polite,
That's right.
and answer their questions with a smile all the while, try to walk that second mile. Turn the other cheek against the crowd.
You can do it, just you try it. Why not try my steady diet? We'll keep happy eating humble pie.
Mercy, child, what are you doing here?
I've been wrestling with my soul, and I'm ready to tell Mrs. Lynde that I'm sorry I lost my temper.
Very well then. Matthew, come in here. I want you to see what a little discipline can do.
Mrs. Lynde, oh Mrs. Lynde, you have been wronged and I have sinned. My very soul is so chagrined. I acted so undisciplined. I should have laughed. I should have grieved. I should have been more thicker skinned. Forgive me, please. My hopes are pinned on Mrs. Lynde.
Well, now, I think that's very nicely done.
My punishment was necessary. Upstairs just now in solitary. I have a temper which is scary. I know I have it, I'll be wary. You'll find my conduct salutary. I don't deserve the human race. Just make my headstone commonplace and print my name in lowercase without an E. Just leave a space. Please, Mrs. Lynde, you rage rescind. Please, Mrs. Lynde, I know I've sinned. Please, Mrs. Lynde, I'm out of reach. Please, Mrs.
in the lane, Diana. Marrilla will bring the child in from the house.
Oh, Mother, I'm dying to see what she's like.
You must remember, dear, that this child is most unfortunate. She doesn't have a father nor a mother, so you mustn't flaunt your own too much. It's not polite to talk to other children about things they themselves don't possess.
Good morning, Mrs. Barry. Diana, this is Anne.
How are you, Anne?
Thank you, ma'am. I'm as well as can be expected.
Hello, Anne.
Hello. You have a perfectly lovely name. Diana is my favorite heathen goddess.
Diana is a very nice little girl, and her mother is very particular about who she plays with. Now, you don't want to keep her late for school. Here's your note from Mr. Phillips. I will just slip over to your house, if I may, Mrs. Barry, and borrow that dress pattern you were telling me about.
Very well, Marrilla. Mind you behave yourself now, Diana. Goodbye, dear.
Goodbye. Oh, Mother, do you suppose I could take Anne with me to the Sunday school picnic this Saturday? Oh, a picnic?
Why, I suppose that would be for Miss Cuthbert to decide, Diana.
Oh, may I, Marrilla? May I? There's going to be all kinds of races with prizes, and we're going to make ice cream. Oh, Marrilla, they're going to make ice cream. What's that? Oh, Anne, you're teasing.
I suppose if the child has never had a taste of it, Marrilla, this might prove to be a good opportunity.
Well, I suppose if the parents are going along as well.
Everyone's going.
Well, then I don't suppose there's any harm in it. Land's sakes, child. Hurry along, or you'll be late for school.
We can go swimming at the picnic too, Anne. Tilly Boulter nearly got drowned last year. Oh, it must be such a romantic experience to have nearly been drowned.
Homework gotta be done. Think of a spelling bee, that's fun. Think of the arithmetic on the slate. Think about recess, can't wait, it's school again. School again. School.
Our alma mater, heads and hands and hearts forever that we know that you are grand.
2, 3, 4.
Heavenly above thee will raise our loyal sons and daughters, banners of sincere endeavor over Prince Edward Island.
Okay, all right, class, settle down, and get on with the work I gave you yesterday.
Don't bother Mr. Phillips now, Anne. He's busy. He doesn't know any of us here, and he spends all his time chasing Moody Macpherson and his slingshot. I heard Mr. Phillips tell Mrs. Lynde that Moody was the bane of his existence. But what are the rest of us supposed to do? Oh, just finish up the work we didn't do yesterday. But I wasn't here yesterday. I know, you lucky thing. Why don't you draw something funny on your slate?
Gilbert Blythe, you dirty little.
All right, class, settle down and concentrate.
That boy teases Josie Pye something terrible, and she's dead gone on him. He's awfully handsome, isn't he? His name is Gilbert Blythe. I think he's very, bold. When does Mr. Phillips start teaching the rest of us? As soon as he straightens up Moody Macpherson.
Psst. Hey, what are these, carrots?
You mean hateful boy! How dare you!
Who is this strange girl?
Anne Shirley, sir. I'm new. I have a note.
And what is the meaning of this?
It was my fault, sir. I teased her.
Sit down, Blythe. I'm sorry to see a new pupil displaying such a vindictive spirit. What did you say your name was again?
Anne Shirley, sir. Anne with an E.
Class, repeat after me. Anne Shirley has a very bad temper.
Anne Shirley has a very bad temper.
Anne Shirley must control her temper.
Oh, please, sir. She spelled it wrong. She forgot the E.
You must learn to control your tongue as well as your temper. Go and sit with Gilbert Blythe. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, but I didn't suppose you really meant it.
I assure you that I did. Obey me at once. Now, class, repeat after me. Anne Shirley has a very bad temper.
Anne Shirley has a very bad temper.
Anne Shirley must control her temper.
Anne Shirley must control
her temper.
Macpherson, come here. Here. What have you got in your mouth? Have you been chewing pine gum again?
No, sir. I was just soaking a prune for recess.
Well, get rid of it. All right, class recess, except for Blythe. Gilbert, you stay here and clean off the board. Everyone else dismiss in an orderly fashion.
Wondering, all at once I'm wondering what it's like to grow up and have someone show up who'll be awful nice, and you'll be such a silly fool. She'll never look your way. Wondering, now they'll all be wondering, and they'll gab like parrots, 'cause I called her carrot. Wondering what it was that hit me, and blundering like I might be wondering if she might be wondering about me this way.
Did you hear? Tell me everything, my dear, and I promise you I'll never tell a soul. Why, there ought to be a law.
That's exactly what I saw.
She smashed his head and broke her slate to boot.
Cross my heart, hope to die. Have I ever told a lie?
She's a bruiser, she's a brawler, she's a brute. Did you hear? Did you hear?
Tell me everything, my dear, and I promise you I'll never tell a soul. I would thrash her when she's caught.
That's exactly what I thought.
You say the doctor had to take a stitch?
3 or 4, maybe more.
I was watching from the door.
She's a monster, she's a fury, she's a witch.
She has set her cap for Gilbert Blythe. It's as plain can be. But if she wants him, she will have to deal with me.
Did you hear? Did you hear? Tell me everything, my dear, and I promise you I'll never tell a soul. Did you hear? Did you hear? Tell us everything, my dear, and we promise you will never tell a soul. They should put the girl away.
That's exactly what I say.
You mean she went and split his skull in two?
I was there, and I swear there was just blood everywhere.
She's a demon.
She's a monster.
Who? We don't want her kind in Avonlea, and I hope she leaves tonight. If they expel her, then I'll tell her serves you right.
Afternoon, Josie, Rachel, ladies.
Now, Marrilla, heaven knows I'm no gossip, but I'm sure you'd want to be the first to know.
Did you hear? Did you hear?
No, but I will never fear. You always have a little bit of news.
Well, I never, did you ever? I suppose you think she's clever. She'll be marked for life with such an awful bruise.
In the schoolroom, split his head.
I think Gilbert's good as dead.
He was took by motor car to Charlottetown.
She's a piece of Satan's finest handiwork. She's a vixen.
She's a harpy.
She's a bruiser.
She's a brawler. We don't want her kind in Avonlea.
Barbaric, beastly brute.
Cheer up, Anne. You mustn't mind Gilbert making fun of your hair. He's called me a crow a dozen times.
There's a great deal of difference between a crow and a carrot, Diana. Gilbert Blythe has hurt my feelings excruciatingly. Isn't that a scrumptious word? It took me weeks to learn how to say it right.
Anne, how was your first day at school?
Oh, Matthew, Diana invited me to her Sunday school picnic this Saturday. I've never been to a picnic before.
You know, neither have I. Marrilla doesn't think the good Lord intended us to eat our meals outdoors.
Don't you think a picnic is the very nicest way to enter the church?
There will be no picnics for you, young lady.
Come along home, Diana.
But, Mother!
No, at once.
There will be no picnics or anything else until you stop disgracing our name with your vicious temper.
Marrilla, it can't be as bad as all that.
This child is uncontrollable. She has given the Blythe boy a concussion, and right at this moment, he's at the Charlottetown Hospital with 4 doctors picking the slate out of his head.
That's not true. That's not true.
Don't you contradict me, young lady. I got it from Rachel Lynde, and she got it from the girl who works at the yard's goods counter at the store. And she was there and saw the whole thing. Why, the boy's brain pan was split wide open for all to see.
Anne, I'm sorry I broke your slate, and I brought you a new one.
Why, Gilbert Blythe, what are you doing up and about?
Excuse me, Miss Cuthbert, but I'm here to make amends to Anne for what I did.
For what she did? I thought it was her that done it to you.
Whatever it was.
Oh, it was nothing, really, sir. I teased her and she caught all the blame, but it was all my fault.
Ah, how's your brain pan?
My what?
The part of you that split wide open with 4 doctors picking at you?
I think somebody's been giving you a story, Mr. Cuthbert.
I should have known better than to listen to those gossips that hang around Blair's store.
Well, we'll have to be sure Miss Barry gets the right story, too. Now, I don't see any reason why Anne shouldn't go to that picnic.
Oh, would it be all right if she went with me? I'd be sure to look after her and bring her home on time.
I think that would be just grand.
Well, I would want someone to look after her.
No, I shall accompany Miss Diana Barry, and she and I shall look after each other.
Anne?
The iron has entered my soul.
I'm hungry now.
I made a lot of sandwiches, deviled egg and choke cherry jelly.
I'm not that hungry.
I can't wait until we get at the ice cream.
Oh, Anne, you'll love it. Ice cream Is anything more delectable than ice cream? Why, even the most respectable eat ice cream. It's wonderful on a summer's afternoon in June. Ice cream, the recipe's something serious, but ice cream makes everyone so delirious that ice cream, it's certainly worth the trouble that it takes.
What does it take?
It takes a tin pail, you pack it with some ice, rock, salt, sprinkle it on twice, a big spoon to see if it tastes nice.
You've got me a quiver, I'm starting to shiver for
Ice cream.
The mixing is
most enjoyable in ice cream.
and no one is
unemployable in our scheme.
You
got to keep on the double till it's set. You bet.
To mix, cover it up tight, turn crank, can't you do it right?
You help,
This is no time to fight.
keep on with the churning and soon you'll be turning out ice cream. Is out in this world for tastiness, but ice cream can never be made with hastiness. So our dream is about to be just a little overdue. How true.
Everybody ready for the three-legged race? Ready, set, go! The winners, Anne Shirley with an E and Diana Barry.
Oh, Diana, what a thrill. I never thought I'd win. Yes, and Gilbert held them back, so we'd be the first one in.
humiliating.
I think he wants to be your beau.
No, I shall hate Gilbert Blythe for the rest of my life.
That's good, because he's mine.
He is not.
He is too.
It's ready.
Now it's frozen to the core. Now time, our arms are getting sore. Here's the moment we've been waiting for.
Here you are, Miss Shirley, your first taste of ice cream.
Gilbert Blythe! Ice cream. It's marvelous and mysterious. Ice cream. Ice cream.
It's wonderful on a summer's afternoon in June. Ice cream.
Ice cream!
Summer I could sleep late, stay up till midnight catching, do worms for bait. Now I'll be combed and curried and worried again. Who wants to put their shoes on? Not me, my friend.
Whole inch bigger. I took a big umbrella and fell off our roof.
I had the taste of high life in Charlottetown. They have electric lights there that never burn down. I saw the lights on Queen Street for clothes, and I had a cherry phosphate that went up my nose.
We found some licorice root.
I found the hired girl swimming in her birthday suit.
Where did the summer go to? We had such fun. Now we go back to Caesar and Attila the Hun. I'm sure that all this Latin will flatten my head. Sic transi gloria mundi. Summertime, summertime, summertime. Who wants to put their shoes on? Not you, my friend.
Last year, I focused on geography, and it didn't get me anywhere. This year, I'm going to focus on boys. I intend to have half a dozen beaux all crazy about me.
Wouldn't you just as soon have one in his right mind?
You already have that, Anne. I hear Gilbert Blythe has a terrible crush on you.
Who said? I heard Gilbert tell Charlie Sloane just the other day that when Anne Shirley sings in church, her Adam's apple bobs up and down like a chicken pecking dirt.
Excuse me, girls. I'd like to talk to Anne. Alone. Anne, I'm sorry. Can we start this year by being friends? I'm sorry I made fun of you. It was only for a joke.
No, Gilbert Blythe, never.
All right. I don't care. Carrots. Come on, Josie.
Diana, let's promise each other one thing, that when we grow up, neither of us will get married but live together as nice old maids.
Oh, I don't know if I want to be an old maid forever, Anne. I always thought the nicest thing was to marry a wicked young man and gradually reform him.
I know. When you grow up, you're going to get married and leave me. Oh, I hate your husband.
Oh, Anne, that's hundreds of years away. Besides, you know I'll always be your best and closest friend.
Diana, I shall hold you to this until death do us apart. Kindred spirits, just you and me, ever to be. Kindred spirits, sharing our joys, even the boys. We must solemnly swear, swearing's a sin. Shall we begin? Now we're kindred spirits, loyal and true, truer than blue, all our life through. We two you and I.
That's how it will be now. We're kindred spirits, loyal and true,
Like an old shoe, all our life through. We
Good morning, boys and girls.
Hey, you're not Mr. Phillips.
No, I'm not. My name is Muriel Stacy, and I'm your new teacher. Mr. Phillips won't be coming back.
Why not?
Well, I believe he has another job, a better paying one, at the feed store. My, what a bright and sunny morning it is. I think we'll have our first class right out here in the yard.
Outside?
Why not? Just because a pupil is slumped over a desk writing something in a copybook doesn't necessarily mean he's learning anything. Yes, we'll have our first class outside.
Diana, Miss Stacy is a kindred spirit.
Open the window, sweep out the cobwebs, open your mind to what is going on all around. Look at the sunlight, what is it made of? How can it make the flowers jump right out the ground? Open your ears, use that old nose. How come a queen bee knows a rose? Take off the blinkers, let in the daylight. Why does the clinging ivy cling? Tear down the fences, use your 5 senses. Learn everything. Now, are there any questions? It's made of energy, and it's coming to you at the rate of 186,000 miles a second.
Gee wilkers, I never knew that.
Open your hands, reach for the skies.
How does a lobster fertilize?
Look all around you, life will astound you. Why does the yellow warbler sing? Open your heart to, now we will start to learn everything. Now our first class day will be
Latin?
No, not yet.
Algebra?
Later. That comes naturally with a healthy mind and a healthy body.
Then what, Miss Stacy?
Nature study. Open the window.
Open the window.
Sweep out the cobwebs.
Sweep out the cobwebs.
Open your mind to what is going on all around. Dream up a dream. Make it come true. Man made an airplane. And it flew. Open the tap now. Take off your cap now. Let your imagination swing. Tear down the fences. Use all 5 senses. Learn everything.
Anne of Green Gables. What'd you learn on your first day back at school?
The first thing I learned is that we have a new teacher, and she is absolutely perfect.
Oh, well, that is good news.
And when she pronounces my name, I feel instinctively as though it is spelled with an E. Matthew, her puff sleeves are bigger than anyone else's in all of Avonlea. I tell you, Marrilla, she has to come through the door sideways.
Well, I hope you managed to notice what she was teaching.
Yes, we took a walk through Sloane's woods. It's called a field trip, and afterwards we had to deliver out loud oral compositions of what I saw on my field trip, and I gave the best one.
It's very vain of you to say so, Anne. You'd best let your teacher say it.
Oh, but she did say it.
Well, who gave the second best?
That one of the boys, I forgot his name. But the best thing of all is going to be every other Friday. That's when we're going to have recitations. And after Christmas, we're going to put on a concert.
Fiddlesticks. More foolishness.
Oh, but Miss Stacy said it'll be a feast of reason and a flow of soul.
Oh, does she? Well, I don't believe in concerts. They spoil young people for everyday life. Just a chance for boys and girls to stay up late and carry on when they'd be better off in bed.
Is Gilbert Blythe going to be in this concert? I saw him the other Sunday in church, looking all tall and manly, just like his father. You know, John and Marrilla used to be quite close. In fact, some say John Blythe was Marilla's beau.
Oh, then what happened, Matthew?
Well, they had an argument, and I guess she wouldn't forgive him when he asked her to, but, well, you know how Marrilla can be.
Now, don't you go away, Anne. I'll need you upstairs in a minute.
I can almost imagine Marrilla is being mysterious.
She has a surprise for you.
What is it? Oh, is it a new dress, Matthew? Oh, it's a new dress. Is it?
I'm not supposed to say.
Anne, upstairs.
I never told you anything.
I had some nice material left over, so I made you a sash. Well, how do you like it?
I imagine that I like it.
I don't want you to imagine it. What's wrong with it? It's new, isn't it?
Yes.
Then why don't you like it? It's sensible and it's serviceable. I should think you'd be grateful.
Oh, but I am grateful. However, I'd be ever so gratefuler if you'd made it with puff sleeves.
Fiddlesticks.
Everyone else has them.
Those ridiculous-looking things.
Marrilla, look here.
Look where?
I just don't see why she shouldn't.
Exactly. Why shouldn't she? I prefer these plain, sensible things.
But wouldn't you rather look ridiculous when everyone else did than plain and sensible all on your own?
It's wicked of you to think of your looks so much.
Marrilla, you can't just take a girl and...
Matthew Cuthbert, I don't know what you're trying to say, but I think you'd best keep it to yourself. This is women's affairs. Now you stay out of it. I'm afraid you're a very vain little girl.
How can I be vain when I know very well that I'm homely?
She doesn't like it. Good, green, wincy, and she doesn't like it.
Just like a chicken pecking dirt. The world has laughed long enough. It's time I take matters into my own hands. It is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. I am standing at the threshold of eternity at last, as reckless of the future as I have been of the past.
The words, the words, the words. Why won't they come when I want them? I've kept my peace since I was young, 'cause a boy is taught to hold his tongue. But now when I'm bustin' to say my say, I just can't seem to find a way. I can't find the words, can't get out the phrases. Just when she needs love, I can't sing her praises. Where do the words go when I am before her? Oh, if I could show what I feel in my heart, I'd implore her.
I adore her. I'd die for her. But I can't find the words.
I killed her. But not giving you. Yoo-hoo! Anne, you may use some of this cream for Diana's berries. Oh, where is that child? Up in her room practicing for that tomfool concert, I suppose. She has no business daydreaming when the both of us are expecting company. Anne? Not here. Mrs. Barry and Diana will be here in less than 5 minutes and her bed not made. Mercy on us. What are you doing here? Have you been asleep?
No.
You're not sick.
No, but Marrilla, please, just go away. Don't look at me.
What nonsense. Get up. The both of us are expecting company for tea in less than 5 minutes.
Please, just go away. Don't look at me.
Did anyone ever hear the like? Anne Shirley, get up this instant and... Your hair! It's green!
I thought nothing could be worse than red hair, so I dyed it.
But it's positively green.
Now I know it's 10 times worse to have green hair.
Whatever made you do such a wicked thing?
He told me it would make my hair a beautiful raven black.
He told you? Who told you? What are you talking about?
Remember that peddler who was here a few months ago? I bought it from him.
That peddler. I sent him away. I only deal with the Watkins man.
Yes, but after I bought it, I didn't have the nerve to try it until you.
Until I made you a dress.
Oh, Marrilla, it wasn't just that. It was Josie pie. Oh, it was everything.
There. This is a quick dye if I ever saw one. It's a good job you didn't use it on the top of your head first.
Oh, Marrilla, my career is closed.
Now, Anne, there's no use crying over spilt whatever it was. That hair will have to go. But I'll get the scissors.
But Marrilla...
No, there's no time to lose. Here come the ladies up the drive now. Afternoon, Rachel, Minnie, Penelope.
Oh, are we having the meeting in the kitchen?
Oh, Lord, no. Mrs. Barry's little girl, Diana, is simply coming over to have tea with our Anne. That's all.
Oh, how sweet, just like the big folk.
They soon will be big folks. My little Josie's grown so fast like a pigweed in the night.
I saw the pair of them, Anne and Diana, coming home from school the other day, growing like 60. Now, I always thought that Barry girl was a beauty, and so she is. But I want to tell you, Marrilla, I was wrong about your Anne, and I'll admit it in front of the ladies of the executive. It's not often I'll admit I was wrong, but I was, and I'm glad of it. Why, it's a little short of wonderful, the improvement in your Anne. Really good looking she's getting to be. It's fine. Well, here she is now. How are you, Anne?
I'm well in body, though considerably rumpled in spirit. Thank you, ma'am.
Isn't that a new dress you're wearing? What color is it?
It's bottle green.
I don't think it suits the child.
Sallows are some.
It's such a nice day out. Why don't we have the meeting out there? Mrs. Barry will be here in less than 5 minutes, and that'll make a full turnout. I'll see to the ladies, Anne. You take care of Diana. You may open that little yellow crock of preserves if you wish. I think it's beginning to work anyhow. And you may use up the last of the raspberry cordial. You look just fine, considering, and you did a good job on your hair. The cordial's on the second shelf. Afternoon, Mrs. Barry, Diana. It's such a nice day outside. We thought we'd have the meeting out there.
Oh, I'll join you in a minute. Come along, Diana.
On the second shelf. Oh, good afternoon, Mrs. Barry. Diana.
Thank you, Anne. Diana, what do you say? Anne, your hair. You put it up. It looks just like that pompadour on the mannequin in Holman's window in Charlottetown. Oh, Mother, when can I put my hair up like yours? Not for another 2 years, dear. You know that.
Well, can I get a plume for my hair like you have?
We'll see, dear.
Mrs. Barry, we're about ready to begin the meeting now.
Now behave yourself, Diana.
We will now have the minutes of the last meeting.
Oh, Anne, you are the luckiest thing. I envy you, I really do. I am absolutely green.
Will you please have some raspberry cordial?
This is gonna be fun. We can pretend we're grown up and say things to each other we really don't mean. Do you suppose Rachel, Lynde, and Marrilla did this when they were little girls?
Oh, I don't think I can imagine Mrs. Lynde or Marrilla as a little girl. Even my imagination has its limits.
May I have some more raspberry cordial, please?
There you are. I'll get the cake. I baked it myself, so I hope it's all right. Last time was when the minister came, and instead of vanilla, I used Sloane's liniment by mistake.
May I have some more cordial, please?
Oh dear, I put too much starch in these napkins. I made a plate of taffy too, but Marrilla made me throw it out. One of the cats from the barn walked all over it. I don't think you would have noticed except for the rather interesting design.
Kindred spirits, just you and me, ever to be.
I'm so glad you feel that way, Diana.
This is awfully nice cordial, Anne. It's ever so much nicer than my aunt's cordials, and she brags of her Josephine ever so much. It doesn't taste a bit like hers.
Oh, Diana, that's all right. I'll get a cloth. Diana?
Kindred spirits, just you and me, ever to be.
Diana?
Like a fly sticks to glue, we'll stick together, just me and you. I'll swear at you, you swear at me, we swear we now are kindred spirits.
Diana!
Oh, hello, Mother.
What has happened to my child? I think she's been poisoned.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Don't worry, Mrs. Barry, I'll come.
Anne, where did you get this bottle?
On the second shelf where you told me.
How much did she drink?
3, maybe 4 tumblers full. Diana!
It's my fault. I forgot to bring the cordial from the root cellar. The child has been drinking currant wine.
Wine? Why, Marrilla, Cuthbert, you always said your currant wine wouldn't have the least effect on anybody.
You even gave it to the minister's wife.
Yes, but she didn't drink 4 tumblers full at a time. That's the last of it, you'll be glad to know. And I think we'd best get rid of it now. Look all around you, life will astound you. Why don't you open up and sing? Open the window, now we'll begin to learn everything. Now, I'd like the girls to collect leaves and wildflowers, and there will be a prize for the one who brings us back the most different kinds. And boys, let's see who'll be the first to climb a tree and bring us back an empty bird's nest. Wait, be careful of the birds and treat the eggs gently. Now off you go. Astound you. Why don't you open up and sing? Open the window, now we'll begin to learn everything. Anne Shirley, Gilbert Blythe, would the two of you come here, please? I have decided
to recommend you both as candidates for the Avery Scholarship. If you accept, you will be competing with students all over the island and with each other, as there is only one scholarship. It's worth $250 a year for 4 years at Queen's College, but it will mean an extra hour's work after school. Are the two of you willing to give up that free time and try for it? Good, I'm glad. You should be able to help each other a great deal. I see.
I'll show him that a girl can set her mind to study hard and work and slave, and when the time has come, he'll find. I'll show him.
Though other boys are having fun by climbing trees and skipping school, except for me, the only one, I'll show her. I know her. I know behind that freckled face, there's just a stuck-up snob who always has to win each race.
I know him. I know that great big show-up boy who thinks he's oh so extra smart because he's Josie's pride and joy. I know him. I'll compete with him, make mincemeat of him, and I never will give in. No retreat from him, wipe the street with him.
Yet I know that she will win.
I know it. I know what Gilbert Blythe will do. He'll close his books right after school and never fuss or fret or stew. I know it.
I know that when it comes the day I'll lose my nerve and not show up, I'll run away. I'll throw it.
Won't compete with him. I'll be beat by him. Please just free me from his grip. I'll retreat from him. Crow, I'll eat with him.
She can keep the scholarship.
No! I'll show him. I'll show that awful schoolroom scab. That stuck-up snob.
That freckled grouch.
That teacher's pet.
That red-haired crab.
I'll throw him. The day will come when we will write the big exam and I'll become.
The bell will ring and wham.
I'll show him. I'll show him.
Make me laugh.
Morning, Earl.
Morning, Cecil.
Good morning, Lucilla.
Why, morning, Cecil. Earl, what can I do for you?
I seen a harness, 'twas offered for sale in your brand new catalog.
It pulls out your teeth and fits under your tail and gives you a real smart job.
I'll fetch it. Good day.
Good day.
Why, morning, Miss Barry. Miss Boulter, what can I do for you?
Have you got a garment that's offered for sale in your new spring catalog?
It takes all the flesh that you find in the front and moves it around in back.
That's a cinch. Why, Mr. Cuthbert, how can I help you today?
Oh, Lucilla, is Mr. Phillips available?
Mr. Phillips? I know, he's in the back.
Oh, dear.
Step over here. I'm at your service. What can I do for you? I'm sorry. Please don't be nervous. I've nothing else to do.
I want some puff. Puff.
Puff? Puff?
How's that again, Matthew?
I want some puff. Puff.
Wrap tobacco? I'll wrap a tin of old chum.
No, I want
Paraffin oil.
have
Paris perfume?
Right now we're all out of stock.
No, I meant
Pickled preserves.
Pickled preserves, 1 crock. Our only aim in life is but to please you. A general store is just the place to meet the needs of the human race.
what I came for. I really can't say. It's more like, oh.
That's a special today. Cecil, can you go and help?
Oh, now that's what I came for.
Prunes?
Pink pills.
Peppercorns?
Peaches, pears, plums.
Pitchforks? At this time of year? Our only aim in life is but to please you. A general store is just the place to meet the needs of the human race. Put down 6 and carry that 2. Is there anything else we can do for you?
Rachel. Lucilla, please excuse me for a moment.
Now let's see. What do we have here?
Paraffin oil.
Pipe tobacco.
Pickled preserves.
Peppercorns?
Potatoes.
The very thing. Puffed sleeves.
Puffed sleeves?
Puffed sleeves.
Hey!
Charge it!
If you aren't the prettiest thing I ever saw. You don't think it makes me look wider like Marrilla said?
Oh no, it makes you look taller. I can hardly wait to see the look on Gilbert Blythe's face.
Oh, neither can I.
Not to mention Miss Josie Pye.
Diana, tonight I have a soul that flies above Josie Pye and everything else.
Diana, can you help me with my lines, please?
Of course, Gilbert, but...
Ugh, my mother.
Josie, what's the matter?
I told my mother I had to be Spirit of Canada with wings and everything, but she wouldn't let me her beaded slippers.
But your mother's slippers wouldn't have fitted you anyway.
Who ever heard of a fairy in boots with copper toes? Leave me alone.
Oh, isn't it grand they got up a concert?
I hear these young people have been practicing up for months.
Oh, yes. My Diana doesn't mind doing that for a concert. Just get her to practice her piano or do her studies, and it's a different story.
I'm sure we're going to be proud of our Diana tonight. Why, Matthew Marrilla, I'm sure we're going to be proud of our Anne tonight. Why, Matthew Cuthbert, you're white as a ghost. What could Dr. Malcolm say?
I'm not surprised. Going all the way to Carmody for puff sleeves and straining his valves, bringing home a drum of paraffin oil we don't need, 100 pounds of potatoes I'll never use in a month, and enough pitchforks for a threshing gang.
I know, wasn't that a caution?
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Board of Trustees, honored guests, parents, and friends. Tonight, we would like to present a pageant of Canadian history written and devised by the pupils of Avonlea School.
Did you hear that?
Isn't that clever? They wrote all their own history.
And now, our pageant.
I am the Spirit of Canada.
But 40 years young.
What?
I am the Spirit of Canada, but 40 years young.
I'm the Spirit of Canada, but 40 years young. Yet my story goes back to the Ice Age, from whence our first people sprung. Anne!
During the Ice Age, Canada slept, her virgin soil undisturbed, except for by the indigenous people who built their home in the snow. Later, more people came. By stripping the bark of some silver birch, they made the rude forest their home. Across the Atlantic Ocean, men from other nations were searching. Gold was what they sought, but what did they find? Not gold, but a golden land!
Now!
We've sailed to North America to see if there's a land that's fit for you and me.
Can there be dry land quite near? Here is an island right here. Never before have we seen such a land.
Was it ever grand? They call it Prince Edward Island, the heart of the world, set in the crossroads of the sea. All of the nations have their banners unfurled, now that they know that this is the place to be.
Oh, Marrilla! Look here, look! Look!
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Avery Scholarship is from Avonlea School, Miss Anne Shirley. And the runner-up, also from Avonlea School, Mr. Gilbert Blythe.
Hooray for Anne Shirley and Gilbert Blythe!
We are indeed doubly proud of our local boy and girl.
Congratulations, Anne.
Oh, Gilbert, I hope... Hooray for Anne Shirley, the cleverest girl on the island! Hooray for Anne Shirley!
It's not really time.
An extra hand to help out on the farm. The doctor said you couldn't do it all yourself, and now...
Not now, Marrilla, please.
Don't you budge until the doctor gets here. I'm going to try to find the sal volatile in case you get dizzy again. I know I left it somewhere.
Good night, Anne.
Good night. Matthew, I couldn't find you or Marrilla anywhere, so we walked home and we sang all the way. Oh, and the blossoms looked so white at night. And is anything wrong, Matthew?
No, just bursting proud of my little girl.
And you know what I kept thinking about as we walked home? About the first time I saw Green Gables. I was in the buggy with you, and I talked all the way home from the station. Remember? Oh, Matthew, I'm so glad you let me stay, even though I wasn't a boy.
We'd rather have you than a dozen boys, Anne. I guess it wasn't a boy that won the Avery Scholarship.
No, but Gilbert was runner-up, and that's about the same thing. Except without the scholarship, his father can't afford to send him to Queen's.
Gilbert will make his mark, never fear.
You know, I think the best thing about winning the scholarship is that it announces to the world that you've got some sense. I was never sure before, but I think my chances of becoming sensible are far greater than ever. Marrilla always said I was too romantic by far.
Don't lose all your romance, Anne. A little romance is a good thing. Keep just a little of it. Anne of Green Gables never change. I like you just this way. Anne of Green Gables, sweet and strange, stay as you are today. Though blossoms fade and friends must part,
old grow the songs we've sung. Anne of Green Gables, in my heart, you are forever young.
Matthew?
And run along now. Tell Marrilla, never mind the salvolotly.
Salvolotly?
That's right. Now go.
Marrilla? Marrilla? Where is it? I hung it there.
I'll fix us up a good, strong cup of tea.
Well, he lived 60 years, but he was never happier than he was during this last one. Oh, Marrilla, what will you do without him?
Remember him best we can. I'll take a little slip of that white rose bush that Mother brought from Scotland and plant it by the grave before we leave.
Leave? For where?
Well, Anne's going to Queen's. That's 4 years. There's nothing to stay for here. I could sell the place and board somewhere.
But you wouldn't think of leaving Green Gables.
I've thought about it, and there's nothing else to be done. Things would only get behind worse and worse until no one would want to buy it. It won't be much, but it'll be enough for me to live on.
But sell Green Gables.
Kettle's boiling.
Now listen to me, Marrilla Cuthbert. We've been friends since we was girls together, and you and Matthew well, you are Green Gables. Without you, here too.
Oh, Matthew. Matthew! You mustn't think I didn't love her as much as you did. It wasn't easy for me to say things, but I loved the both of you just as much as I can't find the words, can't get out the phrases when he needed love. Did I sing his praises? Where did the words go? When I was beside him, why couldn't I show all the love that my heart felt toward him? I adored him. God reward him. I can't find the words.
Oh, Marrilla, are you all right? Oh, Marrilla, was it something I said?
I'll have a cup of tea, too. Thank you.
Mercy, child, you nearly scared me out of my growth. Where did you skip off to?
Over to the berries.
I thought Diana was at her Aunt Josephine's for the day.
I went to see her father. He offered to rent the land here at Green Gables, and we can stay in the house just the same.
We? Who's we?
Well, you and I.
But Anne Shirley, what about Queen's?
I met Miss Stacy up the road and talked to her about giving the scholarship to someone else. Only that's not allowed. But she said I can stay here and study everything I would have at Queen's.
But Anne, 4 years.
Nothing would be worse than giving up Green Gables.
I can't let you sacrifice yourself like this.
I have quite made up my mind. Besides, Mrs. Lynde said I have enough education as a woman would be comfortable with.
And Shirley?
And Shirley, I wish to speak with you. Aunt Miss Stacy told me what you did. It was awfully good of you.
Oh, it wasn't particularly good of me at all, Gilbert. I couldn't go to Queen's, and I saw no reason why anyone else shouldn't go.
You're going to keep up your studies, aren't you?
I hope to.
So am I. Well,
Gilbert!
maybe this time you'll help me.
We are going to be good friends, aren't we, Gilbert?
I don't see why not. We've been good enemies.
Wondering why we can't be sweethearts, and wondering why my heart keeps thundering when I hope you're one.